Welcome, and welcome back, everybody, to the OK Grognard Show. Today is Wednesday, June 11th, 2025, 10 a.m. Central in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. And we are looking today at some rules again. It's been a little while. We have not done a lot of rules-based videos in the last little while. This one is on the first edition Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Dungeon Master's Guide section on recovery of spells. Recovery of spells is I'll tell you what, I played a long time. I don't do things myself quite by the book. And I will also say that I've never seen any game that I've played in or was run by people that ever did things quite the same way. And I'm not 100% sure, after reading this section today as part of this video, that I have a definitive answer on what the book says, what the book means, or what anyone should particularly do. But let's discuss that for sure. Hey, Vince in the chat there. Thanks for dropping in. Vince Ragusa of the Maroon Room. You guys got another single coming out later this month. I saw Alex Merritt, your bandmate, posted that over on, well, posted it everywhere, as well should the members of the Maroon Room. 2 out, a third one coming, more coming after that. A whole album's worth of stuff will be dropping over the course of the summer and maybe into the fall a little bit. The 25th of this month. We'll look for it for sure and make a point of mentioning it as we can on the next show. Recovery of spells. Yes, 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 yes. Let's D&D this. So here we go. I got these in front of that. You know what? I'm going to move this behind. I'll move myself behind this. My camera has me a little further over than I'd like to be. There we go. All the technical stuff out of the way. Let's have a look at this. Recovery of spells. This is page 40 of the DMG for those who want to follow along. Spell recovery, whether cleric or druid, or magic user or illusionist, requires about the same period of time. In order to pray and meditate for a new spell to replace one used, or in order to study and memorize such a spell, it is necessary that the spell user rest and revitalize his or her mental faculties. Whether one or more spells are to be regained, the minimum time required for complete rest, usually sleep, is that required for the highest spell to be recovered. Minimum rest periods are shown below. So they give a nice little table here. This spell level is first or second, and 4 hours of rest time. Third to fourth, 6 hours. 5 to 6, 8 hours, 7 to 8, 10 hours. In 9th level spells, 12 hours. That's as high as they go in first edition. They continue. You know what? Let's have a look here. Thus, if a cleric or magic user needs only memorize first or second level spells, he or she need only sleep for 4 hours, and will then be able to memorize or regain as many such spells as he or she is normally entitled to. I think that's a real important phrase, because I think that applies later on in this section. On the other hand, if the character in question also wished to include a 7th level spell, rest time would be 10 full hours. Even though but a single 7th level spell were to be thus regained, while half a dozen second-level spells were also to be regained. So none of the second-level spells matter if there's a seventh-level spell on board. You look at the highest level spell, and whatever is required for that is what is required for all of the spells you're trying to regain or memorize right from scratch. It continues, and this is where it gets tricky in my eyes. Once rested, an additional 1/4 hour per level of spell must be spent in study or prayer and meditation in order to memorize or acquire the ability to cast each spell. Now, here's the problem. And it's not quite on the screen on this one, right? Let me just pull that in so we can see the whole thing. Ability to cast each spell. What's annoying about this, ability to cast each spell. So is it cumulative? This is what often gets confusing when trying to deal with this. So if I have a 7th level spell, once rested, an additional 1/4 hour per level of spell must be spent in study or prayer and meditation in order to memorize or acquire the ability to cast each spell. 7th level, 1/4 hour per spell level would be an hour and 1 3/4 hours. Right, 15 minutes per level of spell. Now, is that cumulative? Is like the rest of them, part of that 1 3/4 hours then? It would seem crazy to think, let's say I have 5 first, 4 second, 3 third, just to pick some numbers here. Let's say I have 4 of each that I need to regain below 7th level, 2 of each 5th and 6th, okay? Per spell level. If I add them all up cumulatively, the 4 first level adds an hour. The 4 second level adds 2 more hours. That's 3 on top of the 1 3/4 hours already, right? 3 third level would be 45 minutes each, or 2 1/4, another 2 1/4. Wait a minute. Before long, as I add these up, I'm spending my entire day in study or prayer. So that can't be it. I wouldn't have any time to adventure before I have to go back to sleep. And that makes no sense within the rules. So the previous section, where it says once you established how long you have to rest for the highest level spell, the rest of them are included within that time, that would make sense. Now, I will say that most DMs I know hand wave a sort of short form of this. I do myself, wherein we just say a full night's sleep, study and say your prayers while everyone else is eating breakfast and you're just grabbing a quick nosh or whatever. I tend to say you're 12 hours adventuring, you're 12 hours off and resting. You stop after 12 hours, you make camp, you establish your watches. I like to suggest 4 watches, right? If I've got a couple hours before and a couple hours after, everyone's actually sleeping, where we're making camp, we're cooking food, we're doing all of that stuff. The spellcasters sleep through all 4 watches, 2 hours each, and then 4 other members take. A lot of people do, we'll do 3 watches. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's kind of what I see most DMs do. I like to do 4, 2 hours each. Depends how large the group is. I run first edition. I tend to run larger groups. I've got 7 in my current campaign. I've had more. I was planning on cutting it down to 5, but I had a lot of interest, so I was able to squeeze a couple more in when we adjusted where we were going to play. In any event, that's the idea. Build that resting time in for the spellcasters. If they don't need to recover spells, if they're just using the spells they picked from the day before and they don't need to change any spells, they could take a watch. They don't need to rest to recover, and they're good to go. So I don't force that issue either. I also say, and this is a side rule, but it pertains to recovery of spells. This is one of my own. It's not official. It's not part of first edition, but I allow people to switch out spells. Did I pick the wrong spells? Did I misunderstand what we were going to do? Did we take a left turn instead of a right turn, and now my spells as chosen are not as pertinent to what we're actually doing? All right, change out a first level spell. Take 15 minutes per spell level to rememorize, or to forget and newly memorize, or to pray and bring on board, if you will, a different first level spells. 15 minutes per spell level. So if I want to change out a second level spell, that's a half an hour. A third level spell, that's 45 minutes. If I want to do a third and a first, that's an hour. 15 minutes per spell level. And you can change out one spell for another. And they've got to be spells, obviously not a big deal with clerics, but magic users, they've got to be ones that you have in your books, and you got to have your books with you. This is another one of the dangers. Don't get caught in a fireball and miss your saving throw, because if your spell book gets destroyed, so be it. In any event, this is what the book says, the DMG on page 40 about recovery of spells. I've given you my insights on some of the things I've seen and heard other DMs doing, and I've made my own suggestions for the ways that I handle things. There you have it. So I hope it's useful to you. Yeah, that's about it. We'll take a powder. We'll come back. Don't forget, we've got 3 more weeks before we go on summer hiatus. So keep joining us each week and check out what we're doing. This has been the OK Grognard Show on the first edition Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Dungeon Master Guide Recovery of Spells section. That's page 40. Join us each week. This show streams live on Twitch each Wednesday at 10 a.m. Central. Then it's archived on YouTube. Like, subscribe, follow, all of those fun things. Comment, please, if you will. It would be appreciated. And don't forget to support the channel, even at the free level on Patreon. Join illustrious helper-outers like Tom Tullis of Vet Dragon Games, Carlos Lysing of Castle Entertainment, Heath Farnan of the AD&D 20, Dave O'Brien, unauthorized user, Heidi and Eric Gygax Garland of Gaxland, Vince Ragusa, who was in the chat today, of the Maroon Room, an excellent prog rock band, Daniel Caldwell of Griffin and Gargoyle, Christian Garcia, Stephanie Lesniewski-Gruchow, Cera Toppilopkus, Colin Szablewski, and as always, DM Extraordinaire Shane Bradley. This has been the OK Grognard Show from beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Thank you, and bye-bye.